Failing a closed book electrical exam can be frustrating. Let's look at some possible reasons why this might be happening. Firstly, a lack of understanding of key concepts. Make sure you thoroughly comprehend basic electrical theory, codes, and industry standards. Secondly, ineffective study methods. Revise your study techniques. Active recall, flashcards, and practice exams can enhance memorization. Thirdly, test anxiety. Manage stress and focus on answering questions calmly and rationally. Fourthly, misinterpretation of questions. Read the questions carefully and ensure you understand what is being asked. Fifthly, a lack of practical experience. Hands-on experience can complement theoretical knowledge and improve understanding. Now, regarding the fire-rated chalk seal question, the correct answer is 1 hour. The fire-rated chalk seal used should be a 1 hour rating, as it needs to match the rating of the penetrated firewall. Here are some tips for passing the closed book test. Firstly, review core concepts regularly, focusing on understanding rather than memorization. Secondly, practice answering questions. Use practice exams or online resources to simulate the test environment. Thirdly, identify areas of weakness. Take note of questions you struggle with and dedicate more time to those topics. Fourthly, seek professional help. Consider consulting with an experienced electrician or tutor for additional support. Also, stay calm and confident. Believe in your abilities and approach the test with a positive attitude. Some more in-depth areas to consider. When studying electrical theory, pay close attention to Ohm's law, which states that voltage equals current times resistance, expressed as volts equals amps times ohms. Understand how this fundamental relationship affects circuit behavior. Become proficient in calculating voltage drops in circuits. Voltage drop occurs due to the resistance of the conductors. The formula for voltage drop is voltage drop equals current times resistance. Ensure you can apply this formula to determine if the voltage at the load is within acceptable limits, typically plus or minus 5% of the source voltage. Review the National Electrical Code, specifically Article 250, which covers grounding and bonding requirements. Understand the difference between equipment grounding conductors and grounded conductors. Know how to properly size grounding conductors based on the size of the ungrounded conductors, as outlined in NEC Table 250.122. Familiarize yourself with overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers and fuses. Understand their purpose in protecting circuits from overloads and short circuits. Know how to select the appropriate overcurrent protection device based on the ampacity of the conductors, as per NEC Section 240.4. Study conductor ampacity ratings. Understand how to determine the ampacity of conductors based on their size, insulation type, and ambient temperature. Refer to NEC Table 310.16 for ampacity ratings of insulated conductors. Be aware of directing factors that must be applied when multiple conductors are installed in a raceway or cable. Review wiring methods such as conduit cable and raceway systems. Understand the requirements for installing these wiring methods in various locations, including wet, dry, and hazardous locations. Know the proper spacing and support requirements for each wiring method. Study motor control circuits. Understand the operation of motor starters, overload relays, and control devices. Know how to troubleshoot common motor control circuit problems such as a motor not starting or overheating. Focus on transformer theory and applications. Understand the principles of transformer operation, including voltage transformation and impedance matching. Be able to calculate transformer primary and secondary currents and voltages. Review lighting circuits and ballast types. Understand the different types of lighting circuits, such as incandescent, fluorescent, and LED. Know the characteristics and wiring requirements for each type. Be familiar with ballast types and their energy efficiency ratings. Pay attention to special occupancies and hazardous locations. Understand the requirements for installing electrical equipment in special occupancies such as hospitals, theaters, and swimming pools. Be aware of the classifications of hazardous locations and the types of equipment approved for use in each location. When tackling practice exams, try these strategies. Firstly, simulate test conditions. Create a quiet and distraction-free environment that mimics the actual test setting. Set a timer to match the time allotted for the exam. Secondly, review the instructions carefully. Read all instructions thoroughly before starting the exam. Understand the types of questions, the scoring system, and any penalties for incorrect answers. Thirdly, manage your time effectively. Allocate a specific amount of time for each question. If you are unsure of an answer, skip it and come back to it later. Avoid spending too much time on any one question. Fourthly, read each question carefully. Pay close attention to the wording of each question. Identify key words and phrases that provide clues to the correct answer. Eliminate obviously wrong answers. Fifthly, answer the easy questions first. Start with the questions you know well to build confidence and momentum. This will also free up more time for the more challenging questions. Sixthly, use the process of elimination. If you are unsure of an answer, try to eliminate incorrect options. This will increase your chances of selecting the correct answer. Seventhly, check your answers. If time permits, review your answers before submitting the exam. Look for any careless errors or omissions. Eighthly, understand the rationale behind the answers. Don't just memorize the correct answers. Understand why each answer is correct and why the other options are incorrect. This will help you apply your knowledge to different situations. Ninthly, focus on your weak areas. Identify the topics or areas where you struggle the most. Dedicate extra time and effort to mastering these concepts. Tenthly, stay positive and confident. Believe in yourself and your ability to pass the exam. Avoid negative self-talk and focus on your strengths. If test anxiety is a major hurdle, consider these approaches. Firstly, practice relaxation techniques. Deep breathing, meditation, and progressive muscle relaxation can help calm your nerves before and during the test. Secondly, get enough sleep. Aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep the night before the exam. Being well rested can improve your focus and cognitive function. Thirdly, eat a healthy meal. Avoid sugary or processed foods that can cause energy crashes. Eat a balanced meal that includes protein, complex carbohydrates, and healthy fats. Fourthly, arrive early. Arriving early can give you time to relax and mentally prepare for the exam. Avoid rushing or feeling stressed about being late. Fifthly, visualize success. Imagine yourself confidently answering the questions and passing the exam. Visualization can help boost your confidence and reduce anxiety. Sixthly, focus on the present. Avoid dwelling on past failures or worrying about the future. Focus on the task at hand and take each question one at a time. Seventhly, take breaks if needed. If you start to feel overwhelmed, take a short break to stretch, walk around, or do some deep breathing exercises. Eighthly, challenge negative thoughts. Replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations. Remind yourself of your strengths and accomplishments. Ninthly, seek support from others. Talk to friends, family members, or mentors about your test anxiety. Sharing your concerns can help you feel less alone and more supported. Tenthly, consider professional help. If your test anxiety is severe, consider seeking professional help from a therapist or counselor. They can teach you coping strategies and techniques to manage your anxiety. Here's a more detailed look at firestopping and penetration seals. Firestopping is a critical component of passive fire protection in buildings. It involves sealing openings and penetrations in fire-rated walls, floors, and ceilings to prevent the spread of fire and smoke. The goal of firestopping is to maintain the integrity of fire-rated assemblies and provide occupants with enough time to evacuate safely. Fire-rated walls, floors, and ceilings are designed to resist the passage of fire for a specified period of time, typically measured in hours. These assemblies are constructed using fire-resistant materials and techniques to contain a fire within a specific area. Penetrations in fire-rated assemblies, such as those for pipes, cables, ducts, and conduits, can compromise the fire resistance of the assembly. These penetrations create pathways for fire and smoke to spread from one area to another. Fire-stopping materials are used to seal these penetrations and restore the fire resistance of the assembly. Fire-stopping materials are tested and listed by independent testing laboratories such as Underwriters Laboratories and Intertek. These laboratories evaluate the fire resistance of fire-stopping materials and assign a fire rating based on the duration of time the material can withstand fire exposure. The fire rating of a fire-stopping material must match or exceed the fire rating of the assembly being penetrated. Fire-stopping materials come in various forms, including sealants, putties, foams, wraps, and colors. Each type of material is designed for specific applications and penetration types. Sealants are used to seal small openings and gaps around penetrations. Putties are used to fill larger openings and provide a tight seal. Foams are used to fill irregular shapes and provide insulation. Wraps are used to protect combustible penetrations such as plastic pipes and cables. Collars are used to seal penetrations through concrete floors and walls. Proper installation of fire-stopping materials is essential to ensure their effectiveness. Installation must be performed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and applicable building codes. Installers should be trained and certified in fire-stopping techniques. Building codes, such as the International Building Code and the National Fire Protection Association codes, specify the requirements for fire-stopping in buildings. These codes address the types of penetrations that require fire-stopping, the fire rating of the fire-stopping materials, and the installation methods. Regular inspections of fire-stopping installations are necessary to ensure their continued effectiveness. Inspections should be performed by qualified individuals who are familiar with fire-stopping requirements and techniques. Any damage or deterioration of the fire-stopping material should be repaired or replaced promptly. Fire-rated chalk is a type of fire-stopping material used to seal small openings and gaps around penetrations in fire-rated assemblies. It is typically made of a mineral-based compound that expands when exposed to heat, creating a tight seal that prevents the passage of fire and smoke. Fire-rated chalk is available in various fire ratings ranging from 1 IR to 4 IRs. The fire rating of the chalk must match or exceed the fire rating of the assembly being penetrated. When selecting a fire-rated chalk, it is important to consider the type of penetration, the size of the opening, and the environmental conditions. Some chalks are designed for specific types of penetrations, such as pipes or cables. Others are formulated to withstand high temperatures or moisture. Proper installation of fire-rated chalk is essential to ensure its effectiveness. The chalk should be applied in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and applicable building codes. The surface should be clean and dry before applying the chalk. The chalk should be applied evenly and completely fill the opening. Regular inspections of fire-rated chalk installations are necessary to ensure their continued effectiveness. Any damage or deterioration of the chalk should be repaired or replaced promptly. In summary, thorough preparation, effective study habits, and a calm, confident approach are key to passing the Electrical Journeyman's closed book exam. Focus on understanding core concepts, practice answering questions, and address any test anxiety you may have. Remember, passing the Journeyman test is a challenging but achievable goal. With perseverance and targeted study, success is within reach.